Quote, I was one of the few that wanted to stay there to get that done. That's Darlene Graham. She said that standing outside her polling place in South Carolina today. The few. A senator, 3 weeks on the job, wanted to stay in Washington and finish the Save America Act. Well, the rest of the chamber grabbed their luggage. And guess what? She is ready to torch the filibuster over it. That's what we need. So we're talking about 6,600 non-citizens. We've talked about this. They sat on the New Jersey voter rolls, and nobody in the Senate lost a night of sleep over it. Now that same Senate is on recess with the Save America Act unfinished. The bill that Ilhan Omar thanked Republican senators for blocking. We're talking about photo ID, proof of citizenship, limits on mail-in ballots, all of it parked. And Graham is the vote. Now stick with me because I'm going to roll you the moment President Trump gets told on air he can declare an election's national security emergency under a 1983 Supreme Court ruling. And what he says back is just 5 words. Now, talking about Darlene Graham. She said she wanted to stay in Washington and finish the work while everybody else grabbed their luggage. And stamina like that, it's not luck, it's actually cellular. Studies show your mitochondria are the batteries that power everything, and when they run down, fatigue and slow healing follow. And that is why red and near-infrared light therapy is one of the most well-researched tools out there. Now, I dug into the science alongside health journalist Jonathan Otto. I use red light myself, thanks to Jonathan and my family. It helps cells produce more energy, reduces cellular level stress, and supports natural repair processes. 9 clinically studied wavelengths, dual chip technology, twice the power of standard devices. I've got a big panel in my guest room, and I got a small panel on my desk, so I use it when I work. I've even got a belt. It's amazing. These devices are solid. They're built to work. Go to myredlight.com/NNN. Use code NNNREP25 for individual items, NNNREP30 for bundles. That's 30% off bundles, 25% off individual devices. Stock is limited. Link in the description below. Now, about that Senate recess, folks. 3 weeks in office, and Darlene Graham moved the Russia Sanctions Act right through the Senate, and cast the deciding vote confirming Todd Blanche as Attorney General. 3 weeks in. Career Republicans can't manage that in 3 terms. And now watch her own words on the seat itself, because the humility, it caught me off guard. Trump endorsed Darlene Graham. Just voted in the South Carolina primary and went full force in favor of no recess.
You were a private citizen. What was it like to see your name on the ballot today? And I'm also curious, is there anybody particularly you'd like to see in a runoff?
It was a little different seeing my name on the ballot. Affordability is a #1 issue, definitely for me. Helping President Trump get his agenda passed. I'm eager to get back to get the Save America Act passed. I was one of the few that wanted to stay there to get that done. So I think those are some issues that are really important. Affordability.
Senator, you've got a lot of people who are making comparisons. They're trying to put you in a bucket. Either, are aligning with President Trump this way or with Lindsey Graham on this way. As somebody who is asking South Carolinians for 6 years in the U.S. Senate, what's maybe 1 or 2 things that you want to accomplish by the end of those 6 years that is apart from Donald Trump and apart from Lindsey Graham, that is something that you are passionate about?
Well, I think we just spoke about affordability. I think that's really important to South Carolinians. The rising cost of health care is extremely important.
Newsflash, Lindsey Graham is not dead. Just transitioned. Okay, sorry, dark humor. All right, same answer, different camera. Pulse Millennial catches Graham naming affordability, pivoting straight back to the Save America Act.
Senator, question for you. Who's watching voters going in and out of voices just like you? In this crowded ticket, is there a #1 issue you think that will separate the two probably make it wrong?
I I think affordability is a number one issue definitely for me. Helping President Trump get his agenda passed. I'm eager to get back to get the Save America Act passed. I was one of the few that wanted to stay there to get that done. So I think those are some issues that are really...
Affordability is number one.
Affordability. The reports keep trying to box her in Trump lane, Lindsey Graham lane. Here's her answer on working with anybody without compromising conservative values.
Senator, you've got a lot of people who are making comparisons. They're trying to put you in a bucket. Either, you are aligning with President Trump this way or with Lindsey Graham on this way. As somebody who is asking South Carolinians for 6 years in the U.S. Senate, what's maybe one or two things that you want to accomplish by the end of those 6 years that is apart from Donald Trump and apart from Lindsey Graham and is something that you are passionate about?
Well, I think we just spoke about affordability. I think that's really important to South Carolinians. The rising cost of health care is extremely important. But I've said before, I will work with anybody to get things passed for South Carolina, to help South Carolinians. I will not compromise my conservative values. But President Trump or anybody, I will work with them to help South Carolina.
Two more questions.
So real quick here, an update. So the race to replace Lindsey Graham heading to a runoff. That's 3 hours ago. Joint Base Charleston renamed for late Senator Lindsey Graham in ceremony with Pete Hegseth. That was 24 hours ago. New Republic says Lindsey Graham's sister insists she isn't a Nepo senator. Darlene Graham opens up about running for her late brother's Senate seat. Trump and Darlene Graham host joint tele-rally ahead of that primary. So we got some more here. Let's keep digging. Then comes the experience, 3 weeks in the Senate, and she's listing the Russia Sanctions Act.
Senator
You're
Graham,
asking
what
South
do you say
Carolina.
about folks that are concerned about your lack of experience?
I think I have some really good experience. I've worked for 30 years for the state of South Carolina. I ran a state agency. I turned it from a struggling agency into a national model. I think that's great experience to bring to the table. Critical thinking skills, ability to lead and make good decisions. So I think I have excellent experience.
Senator, we've been talking to voters yesterday and today about the election. We've heard from some that they're skeptical of your candidacy because you don't have a proven track record of being able to get things done in Washington. What would be your response to those voters?
Well, I was there 3 weeks and I got the Russia Sanctions Act passed through the Senate. I was the deciding vote on Todd Blanche for Attorney General, so I think I've accomplished a whole lot in 3 weeks.
Senator.
Okay, listen. When she keeps going, when any politician just goes, the affordability talking point, like, it just sounds cheap. It sounds kind of used. So is that really where, like, oh, you're there 3 weeks, you did some things, you were appointed, you're gonna, continue the momentum, probably carry the same votes that your brother was doing. Okay. I just want to see, this runoff. I want the best candidate to win. I don't just want somebody who has Lindsey Graham's DNA. Okay. Trump endorsed or not, doesn't matter. Okay. I was at Mar-a-Lago when Lindsey Graham was brought on stage and heard the entire room groan and boo. All right, so don't think that Lindsey Graham's got a lot of fans, even in Trump's house. Okay? I was sitting there with Jim Jordan, Roger Stone, a whole cast of congressional candidates and everybody. And he walks on stage, people groan. So I want the best. I want the best candidate to win. Senate's on recess. Wayne Root tells President Trump there's another way. Declare a national security emergency. This is what I think you've been waiting for.
Because it's so hard to get the Senate to do anything, now they're on recess, they don't get anything done if they never get the Save America Act done. You have the right to declare a national security emergency for elections. And the Supreme Court ruled in 1983 under Reagan that INS versus Chadha, that if you declare a national security emergency as the President of the United States, they can't challenge it. It can only be overturned by a 2/3 vote of both houses of Congress. So if you do this in the next month, we will get photo ID, proof of citizenship, and a limit to mail-in ballots, and
Let
you
me
don't
just say
even
that
need
stranger
the
things
Senate
have
vote.
happened. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
All right, we'll leave it at that. So let me finish with a couple things. Dr. Fauci, can't you challenge the auto pen? You should challenge in court
Well, we are doing
the auto
it.
pen.
We are doing
You are doing it. Okay,
well,
good.
What has to happen, I mean, I've become an expert on the auto pen thing.
Wayne Root, right out the gate, instructing President Trump. He's like, stranger things have happened. Declare a national emergency. Can you imagine what would happen if President Trump declared a national election emergency? Oh my goodness. The screams will be heard from every suburban household to urban America. Oh, it will be, MSNBC, CNN, the weeping and gnashing of teeth will be upon this nation. The rabid left will lose their freaking minds. Oh, yes, they will. But stranger things have happened, apparently. Stranger things. That's the pressure from the outside. Now the mechanics. Republicans back at the polls for the second time. 2 months. In 2 months to fill Lindsey Graham's seat, Republican voters return to the polls. And now we know that the runoff, she's in that running. Now she's talking about her campaign schedule.
It's been a brutal campaign schedule, so we'll see what it looks like in 2 weeks, but what I can tell you is I want to get out, I want to meet as many people as possible, I really want to work hard to get to know people and what they want.
It'll be interesting to see that last name carries her all the way. A reporter asked about people saying she's been handed the seat.
Senator, what did you say to folks that are saying that you're just being handed this?
I don't see it that way. I'm not being handed the seat. I realize that I have to earn voters. So I'm working really hard.
Well, you were handpicked, so you were handed the seat. Now you've got to keep the seat, and that's where the voters come in. So technically, yes, you were handed it, but we want the best politician, the best American patriot to take that seat. So she's not just rejecting it. Here she is on Lindsey Graham himself.
You know, Lindsey was amazing. I will never fill his shoes. No one can ever fill his shoes. And I don't just expect it to be handed to me. I know, again, that I have to earn people's votes, and I'm willing to work.
You know, it is sad. You know, a human life has been lost. Lindsey Graham is gone. Like him or not, you know, she does have some pretty big shoes to fill. Her reason for wanting the job is another, not for self-ambition, she says, and not for power.
I know, again, that I have to earn people's votes, and I'm willing to work really hard over the next 2 weeks to get out to earn those votes. I want to work hard every single day for the people in South Carolina. That's why I want to do this, not to be a politician, not for self-ambition, not for power.
Okay. Time will tell. How often are you thinking about your brother? She says, I think about my brother every single day. Lindsey quote was amazing. I will never fill his shoes. I don't just expect it to be handed to me. That is the woman the Senate's old guard sneers about for lack of experience. 30 years for the state of South Carolina. Ran a state agency, turned it from a struggling into a national model. She wanted to stay and work. Mitch McConnell's Senate wanted the beach. So come off recess, kill the filibuster, pass the bill, or walk out and explain to America why Ilhan Omar keeps sending your caucus thank you notes. That's the demand. It's not complicated. The filibuster is a Senate rule. Elections are the country. Anybody who guards the rule while non-citizens sit on the rolls just told you which one he loves. So call your senator tonight, ask him one question. Write it down. Were you one of the few who stayed? Or are you on vacation? Then drop the answer in the comments because I want the names. Share this with the people who think this fight ended in July And subscribe because President Trump was handed a 1983 precedent on live television, and he didn't say no. You see, Darlene Graham says she's eager to get back. And I'm eager for you to get what I see from inside the building that she's fighting for. Text White House to this number, 844-840-4963, and our nightly report pulled from the halls that were credentialed and lands on your phone before YouTube's ranking system ever gets a vote on it. And reading it is only step one. Step two is being useful. Text the word signal to that very same number, and you are enlisted in the next news signal corps. Real missions, real ranks, a command center that moves with the legacy press smothers. Come get your assignment tonight.